Alright guys, welcome back to another video, and today's video that we're talking about my NBA Jam cabinet that I got from Arcade1up. We're back with another video on it. I have done a previous video on it, which will be linked down below for the first mod I did to this, but today we're talking about two things I did to this and what this cabinet has turned into. The first one is my monitor upgrade that I did, the 20-inch upgrade that I did on this with the monitor that is on there now. I also upgraded it to a PC build now. And this is now my 4-player dedicated cab. So the reason I really wanted to make this video is not only to talk about the mods that I did. I don't need to make a tutorial on how to install these monitors or anything, because I did a lot of people on YouTube already did that, and they did that really well, which is the same video I watched to do it. So there was no reason for me to rehash that video. But what I wanted to bring to the table here is people who are turning these machines like Arcade1up, NBA Jam and stuff into a 4-player machine. When you go ahead and you add a PC in there like I just did, you're going to want to expand your horizons. You shouldn't just dedicate it to just arcade machine or arcade games that are 4 players. If you're going to put a PC in there, let's see what other games on the Windows platform or on N64 or Dreamcast and stuff like that we can get into here that work well with 4 buttons for player 3 and 4 buttons for player 4. So I'm going to show you guys the games that I've curated so far on this list that work really well, that are fun party games to play. And of course, if you guys have any of your own games that you guys see that are not on my list that you think would work great for only 4 buttons per 3rd and 4th player, you can obviously leave those comments down below, and I'll definitely look at those games, because obviously I'm sure there's more out there. These are just the ones I know of, and they work great on a 4-player arcade machine like this. So let's go ahead and get into the video.
Gaming tech, eating brekkie is the gaming tech. Going for a brekkie is the gaming tech. Gaming tech is the gaming tech. Gaming techie.
Today's video, as we talked about, is on my NBA Jam cabinet. And on this NBA Jam cabinet, you guys know that on my previous video, which I will leave down below if you guys want to watch that video, this 4-player panel I bought from Arcade1up, and I had a lot of thoughts about it, so you can watch that video down below if you want to. That's where this kit came from that I replaced, and it has a Pi 4 inside, which is what was used on this machine the whole entire time. But obviously, I wanted to go a little bit deeper into that. I wanted to play NFL Blitz more than anything with 4 players, because that was an arcade game, and a couple of others. And then I got into thinking, like, let's make this my 4-player dedicated machine. And if I'm going to do that, I want to add some Windows games as well that also work well with just having 3 buttons for player 3 and 4. And there's a bunch of those that we're going to talk about that are on this list. So once I got into that, I was like, all right, we're going to have to switch this out to a PC. So I did get a PC 7010 Dell Optiplex, and it's running a 1650 Ti. So really, really good specs, and the monitor was also upgraded, and that is a huge deal. This is the monitor that everyone always talks about, Dell 2007 FP. That's the one that's in there now, and the Tulsa Arcades kit is what I use with the NBA Jam graphics, as you guys are looking at here. That's what was added into there. And not only is it 20 inches, and it's a lot better than having the 17-inch one that was in NBA Jam before, which was not good, but the color quality and the quality of the screen, this is the first time I'm using this screen to upgrade anything, is fantastic. The colors are really, really good. Everything is really sharp, and it's just a great quality screen. No issues with like viewing it from the side or anything. Everything just looks really, really good, and the colors really pop. So I'm really happy with this, because when you want to do a 4-player cabinet, you can't have any issues like from looking on the side, and this just looks fantastic. So I'm really, really happy with and with the 20-inch monitor upgrade, which is a necessity, because 17 inches with 4 players is just not good enough. And then really, really happy with the PC mod on everything that was upgraded, and now this becoming my 4-player dedicated machine. Because as you guys can tell, we're not in my arcade room anymore. I still got to do a dedicated video on what this room actually is, but this is obviously in a new spot, and now we get to have more room to actually have 4 people play. We actually have the room for it now, so I'm excited to finally take care of this and add all of the 4-player games that should be added in a 4-player cab. So with that being said, let's go ahead and do an overview of the games that I have installed on here, the Windows games especially. So if you guys are building a 4-player cab with just 4 buttons on player 3 and player 4, and you want to know, hey, besides arcade games, what Windows games can I add that will also work with this amount of buttons? These are the ones that I've gathered on a list, and of course, if there's any you guys find, let me know in the comments. But let me show you guys what I have installed on this machine as far as the games go. Alright, so here on my NBA Jam cabinet that I wanted to show you guys, just wanted to scroll through some of the games that I added on here and what my reason was for doing this. So again, I added a PC because this is my 4-player machine in the house. Obviously my main machine downstairs that you guys have seen on this channel, the big Oliveira arcade from Rec Room Masters, is a 2-player machine, which is great and has all of these games. But now this is a dedicated 4-player machine. When we want to play some 4-player games, we now have a dedicated spot for it. and this thing has been fully modded out. So I actually have Windows games on here, and I went through here and kind of selected the games that I played on here and actually work on here with no issues at all. So you can see I had Battletoads, Boomerang, Castle Crashers, Crawl, Duck Game, Gauntlet, and General Jousting, if you guys have not heard of that. Visigun Reloaded, Killer Queen Black, Last Fight, Mayhem Brawler, Mount Your Friends, Move or Die, Moving Out, Multiverse, which is fantastic, which is a new game that just came out in open beta, which works great on this cabinet, NBA 2K Playgrounds 2, Nickelodeon All-Stars Brawl, All-Time Hockey, Overcooked, Pac-Man Battle Royale, Party Panic, Pummel Party, Speedrunners, Splody, Sports Friends, Streets of Rage 4, Super Blood Hockey, Super Slam Dunk Touchdown, Super Splotchman, Super Sports Blast, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge, Towerfall Ascension, Tricky Towers, and Ultimate Chicken Horse, and finally Wrestle Dunk Sports. So all of these games that you guys are looking at here, and let me just lower the volume just a little bit so the volume doesn't get in my way while I try to talk to you guys. All of these games, of course, on here, and I'll just open up one of them to show you what I'm talking about, lets you play with 4 players, and that's exactly what I tested and where this list came from for Windows games. These are games that obviously work really well in 4-player mode with these controls. So, obviously, if you guys know of any other great 4-player local multiplayer games on Steam and stuff that you think would work great on this cab, then definitely let me know. But these are the ones I have found so far that work really great on here. So you can see here, I have this loading up. And you can see, as soon as I switch over, you can go ahead and control this with player 1. This is player 1, of course, player 2, player 3, player 4, as it should be. And I can go ahead and, for example, hit battle. We can do it stock. And then I can just add a player. So if I hit player on here, I can just move my stick, and then I become player 1. Let's say I was going to select SpongeBob. Let's say I was going to have a player 2. They would go ahead and select that. And this player would go ahead and select Cat Dog, and this person over here, let's say, is going to be Ninja Turtles. They would go ahead and hit A, SpongeBob, Helga, Cat Dog, and Michelangelo, and then you hit ready to start. Now, of course, you guys are seeing on this panel already that I have 6 buttons on here along with the 2 on top, and then for player 1 and player 2, but only 4 buttons because this was meant as an arcade, of course, on here. So that also determines what games on the Windows I actually have installed on here, because we have to confine to the restrictions of this only having 4 buttons and 2 players up here. So it can't be games that require 6 or 8 buttons, but luckily a lot of the 4-player local multiplayer fun games like this, really you can get away with just doing it with 4 buttons, as you guys are about to see. And sometimes I have the top button being used for something if needed, if you're going to play 4 players. But you can see I hit ready to start. And select whatever arena you want, of course. Let's just go ahead and select that one. And this screen here that I talked about before, the Dell 20-inch screen, not only is it a bigger screen, but the colors, I know you guys probably can't tell in the video, but it looks fantastic in person. Really, really happy with how it looks. And I just fell right off the board. I don't know what I was doing. But yeah, you can see here I'm playing. I can go ahead and use all the buttons here. Same thing with player 2. I'll go over here, and then if I grab player 3, I can be the Ninja Turtles. He's got that. I'm using the second button, rolling there. So we got all the buttons that we need to kind of do that and play this game, which is fantastic. And like I said, all of these games are the exact same way. They're all really, really good to play with 4 people. So if the game can only be played with 2, it's not on this cabinet. This is strictly a 4-player machine that works with these players only having 4 buttons. And that's where this list came from that I showed you guys before. That's where this list derives from. So if it's on this list, that means it could work with 4 buttons. So again, if you guys have any things that you guys think may work on here that don't need a lot of buttons that they sell on Steam, that's a great party game, local multiplayer, and I didn't mention it, make sure you guys let me know for sure. So that is my new 4-player cabinet here on NBA Jam. Really, really fantastic. Of course, I also have arcade games, so all the 4-player arcade games that you guys would expect are also on here as well, so we can go ahead and see all those. Those are all on here and work great for MAME, so we have all that going on. No issue with that at all. And then, of course, I have N64. I have some of those on here. I haven't tested every single one of these yet to see how they work with these controls, but I have tested Mario Tennis and Super Smash, and it works great. Then we have the GameCube. One of the most fun ones to play on here with 4 players is, of course, Super Mario Strikers, to be able to play this because it only needs a couple of buttons for controls. And this is a lot of fun to play on a cabinet with 4 people. Definitely can get into that. And then we also have some Dreamcast games as well. Power Stone, Power Stone 2, and Virtual Tennis and Ooga Booga are the only ones that I can think of that would work well on a cabinet. But again, leave those questions down or comments down below if you think there's something missing that I could add to a 4-player machine that doesn't need a lot of buttons on the control panel like you guys are seeing here. So that is an overview of what I did to my NBA Jam on here. Hope you guys got some useful information on here. If you guys are creating your own 4-player build, maybe these games are something that you can consider if you only have 4 buttons as well. And it will work for you, and it's a lot of fun. I can't wait to finally have people over because I just finished this, so we can get on some of those games and play 4 players and have enough room here to actually be able to play now. Really, really excited for it, and hopefully this helps you guys out if you guys are building your own with what games you guys can add yourself. And again, that 20-inch monitor is a game changer. It looks fantastic and looks really good, as you guys are seeing here, but more importantly, not only does it actually look good and it's bigger, but it fits the screen really well. The Telstar Arcades kit was really easy to install and everything worked great. And yeah, it looks really, really good. And I would never go back to a 17-inch for any arcade cabinet, really. Like, I need to replace all my 17 inches if there's I think I have like 1 or 2 left to do. I am going to be doing my Big Buck Hunter, and you guys will see that later on when I do my Big Buck Hunter to a 20-inch mod as well, because that definitely needs to be upgraded. But the 4-player one was more pressing because 17 inches is just not good enough for these cabs. So that's it, guys. If you guys have any questions about what you guys have seen in today's video, as always, leave it down below. If not, thank you guys for watching. Until next time.